Here we go. We've been together for a while now. We're growing stronger every day now. It feels so good and there is no doubt. And now I'll stay with you as each morning brings a sunrise and the flowers bloom in the springtime. Oh, my love, and you can rely. And now I'll
Hmm.
stay with you. Oh, I will stay with you through the ups and the downs. Oh, I will stay with you. Oh, when no one else is around. Yo, shout out to John Legend.
Mm. Belt it out, brother.
You
Look
know,
at
you
that
know that one?
range, dude. I felt that from the stomach. You're pulling that range from the stomach, man.
Oh man, that's why you gotta do your box breathing out here. Oh man, what's up
Love
with
it,
you?
man.
How's
Let's
everything?
go.
How's
Dude,
everything?
everything is solid. This week, temperature down here in Florida has finally dropped, man. I'm about 12 weeks out from my marathon, and dude, training has been hitting, dude.
Are
But
you
ever since,
experiencing?
huh?
No, I said you're kind of experiencing like in the summer it's so hot you're like damn I'm a terrible runner. And it
Oh
cools off
yeah.
and you're like I am phenomenal.
Yeah, so this is, I think, my third summer now of running down here in Florida heat, and this summer coming in, I just kind of already came in with the expectation. I know, all right, all I got to do is like, don't worry about whatever the pace of the heart rate says over the summer. You just got to get through the mileage in the summer, and once you get through that, the fall hits, and it's all positive uphill from there, man.
Oh man, my back flare up was crushing me, but I finally got back into some consistent lifting, and I got to get my mileage back up. But I got to put something on the map. I got the I'm gonna do the Philly Love next March, so like I'm trying to crack sub 140 on that half. I've essentially taken like over a month break from running right now, which feels horrible. But you got a race coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm doing CIM in December.
Oh, that's in
Yeah,
Sacramento.
yep, that's in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knows, baby. That's the PR course right
That's
there.
a PR
That's the
course. That's
PR course.
exactly, yeah. It's a PR or ER for your boy,
I might actually try to do that one next year because
dude.
I was on pace for that sub 4 hour,
Yeah,
and then I hit like the third bridge in New York, and I was like, I'm so cooked, bro.
yo, let's make it. We should just make it a GGC event. Everyone slide through CIM 2026. Everybody hitting PRs, baby.
That'd be freaking crazy. Outside of the weather running wise, how's everything else been?
It's good, man. Yeah, just taking it easy. Not really taking it easy, but getting through it. Gearing up for Q4. We brought on a new setter, so yeah, just been super entrenched into setter training for our team, but it's paying off, man. I was super. I dropped this in the wins channel in GGC last night, but yesterday was the first time we ended up. I think they booked 15 evals in one day. So I was like super pumped. Yeah, I've been doing daily training with them. So yeah, really good to kind of see it start paying off.
I love that, man. That's freaking dope. Yeah, we're changing our strategy a bit. We were going like just hitting normal like rates essentially and booking normal rate evaluation, and then we went through like a phase where we are trying like a DM thing, but I think
Mhm.
we're going to go with the discounted eval and just kind of figure out like what makes the most sense with the pricing side of things. But yeah, it'll be
A
fun.
lot of times, yeah. I mean, this is what people don't understand is like you constantly just have to like test shit out, and then if it gets you the outcome that you want, awesome. If not, then you got to pivot. I think yeah, a good example would just be also like we tested out this new dialer system in the last 3 4 weeks, and thinking that hey, it was gonna solve a lot of the problems that we were having with pickup rates and everything, and turns out like they weren't really booking any evals to the dialer, and this dialer is fucking like $500 a month with like $1,000 onboarding fee. I'm like, God damn, we just spent all this money on this one thing that I thought would solve, but it's like it's not really working out. So time to pivot. But yeah, it's cool, man. It's just like let's see if that works, and if so, awesome. If not, like we need to probably figure something else out. But the main thing is really just to continue to optimize and continue to try and make it better.
No, for sure. Yeah, always got wins though. It's always nice when you get like a chatbot person, you call them immediately, and they're like, "Yep, book an eval." I'm like, "Let's go!"
Speed to lead, baby.
All the simple things. But yeah, anything else new on your end?
No, I don't think so, man. We finished our deck in the backyard. Yeah, next time you're in Florida, you gotta slide through, dude. But we just bought a sauna. So yeah, we gotta have a sauna, cold plunge set up in the backyard. Your boy's about to be in his optimization health era.
Dude, the sauna stuff. There's really good research now for like health, heart health, and longevity. There's this like Irish cardiologist I've been following that's been
Mhm.
breaking down some of the mechanisms. But yeah, man, the sauna stuff is definitely hot, and you know
I
what's hotter? The people that are already enjoying your service, and you should be talking to these people so that you can find out more. Peter,
Whoa, I felt the sizzle from here, dude, based on how hot that was.
tra- talking about wait before I try to do that transition, you're about to say something though.
Oh, yeah, real quick, back up on that transition. So saunas, I was doing a deep dive into this. I feel like I almost have like a mini bachelor's in the differences in saunas now. But apparently, you have like the barrel saunas, right? Are like super popular now with a lot of people. But apparently, like if you go over to Finland, where saunas originated, everybody talks about how like um, the regular like cabin side, so a square sauna is like the way to go because apparently with the barrel saunas, there's the heat doesn't rise as well as in a regular one, and so even though it's more cost effective from an overall efficiency standpoint, it can't get as hot as like a regular cabin one. But anyways, yeah, I basically spent like an entire weekend. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, just going through a deep dive on saunas.
Dude, it's I honestly like when I get in a sauna, it's probably I prefer that over most things like the cold plunge stuff like that. Dude, a sauna and just coming out and just like letting the wind feel the wind. I'm like, damn, that feels amazing.
Yeah, like I love just being able to sit there in a puddle of sweat, whether it's you're sweating out any kind of like toxins or stuff from the weekend. Just makes you feel brand new. But anyways, dude, we gotta go back to that smooth transition.
Hey, smooth operator, here we go. Yeah, I think we're always trying to come up with one. First of all, shout outs to Peter, right? Like now you guys don't have to do any sauna research. Like that's what you get listening to this podcast. You get random ass facts that you might come back to. But I think one of the lowest hanging fruits, and I think this is something that you should do probably every quarter or maybe every 6 months,
Mhm.
but not enough people actually update some of their marketing, some of their scripts, little subtle things on websites because they don't even know where to go. And I think the simplest thing that you can do is just straight up talk to your patients. And I think as a business owner, you have that. It might be a little bit tougher to ask your team to ask their patients, right? Because they might be like, well, why do you care so much?
Mhm.
But when people know that you're the business owner, it's like they're so willing to share. And I used to think that that was like very interruptive, but I think the stat is somewhere like 70 to 80% of people would prefer a personalized approach, and they don't in marketing, and they don't mind giving up some of their information in order to get
Mhm.
those personalized approaches. So I would definitely start to talk to your patients, especially long term ones, right? The ones that you
Yeah.
love spending time with. What have you done on that side of things, Peter?
Dude, so our ICPs have changed dramatically throughout the years, man. But yeah, for those of you guys listening out there wondering, like, what the hell is an ICP? ICP basically stands for your ideal customer profile. So, who's your ideal client that you want to work with? And when I was starting out just by myself inside a CrossFit gym, man, I was doing a lot of CrossFit at the time, and I was like, all right, cool. My ICP is going to be CrossFitters, and yeah, that was like probably my main jam for like the first year or so, which is CrossFitters. I lived and breathed CrossFit. That was basically what a lot of my marketing message revolved around. But lo and behold, fast forward 2 or 3 years later, doing some research on it, it turns out the overall LTV, the lifetime value of somebody who comes from a CrossFit background, is not great at all. Okay, and so over the last couple of years, what we've really found is the people that decide to work with us the longest are usually typically anywhere between their like 40s to 60s, working and are somewhat newerish to fitness. And the reason why I think like they stick around for so long is because they originally have some sort of like pain that's going on, that's preventing them from trying to be active. So they initially come in for that, but because they don't have a really good fitness background, now we have a whole like another platform we can kind of get them to get better at, and that's completely untapped. And so for us, like we've really tried to like focus in on kind of that little bit of that older demographic that hasn't been into a gym yet, that is like completely brand new to fitness. So that's one ICP, and yeah, we don't even really even market up CrossFit anymore. I mean, I almost kind of feel bad for CrossFit, dude. I feel like I've just seen CrossFit like slowly trend down year over year. I think they had the whole thing with Greg Glassman during COVID. But dude, over here in Jacksonville, back in when I first moved here in 2019, there were probably close to like 20 to 30 different CrossFit gyms. And then last time I checked, there's probably only like 3 or 4 that are still open. And so, yeah, they're just, I don't know if it's because, hey, there's other rises in other different fitness studios or what, but it's getting less and less popular. So that was kind of what I initially started with. And then, now we also have another ICP, which is a lot of that kind of that runner demographic. Right. So
Yeah.
we have specific marketing messaging, for those people, and kind of, specific sequences for them when they come in. But going back to your original question, I think we constantly have to survey I would say like, yeah, once every 6 months, if not a year, to be able to figure out, hey, like who's actually spending the most amount of money with you. Um, and so, regardless of whatever EMR or CRM that you utilize, there should be some way where you can basically pull up, like, hey, like, and you can filter by which clients and put them in a list of order of like, hey, who has spent the most amount of money. And it's like pulling up some of these numbers, from last year. It's been pretty crazy to see. Like some people have spent close to like 20K, if not more, just with us over the last like 3 years. And it's just like, man, how can we get more of those people? And the only way we can get more of those people is if we start to track the data.
Yeah, we when we looked at some of the numbers of like our clients that are just getting the best results, constantly coming back, leveling up fitness, every aspect, etc. Dude, I was shocked at the lifetime value of some clients. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like we could have gotten a brand new car with like.
Yeah.
But these clients are super super happy. They're every single trip. Like I have patients that are entering their 60s and they're doing these
Yeah.
very very adventurous trips, hiking like insane mountains, or they straight up like I wouldn't even do it right now, right? But they continuously train for these things and they're prepared. But a majority of businesses, about 80% of the revenue comes from like the top 20% of
Yeah.
their clients, right? And you don't want to study the other 20%. You want to fucking dial in on that. The other 80%. You want to dial in on the 20% and get more of those type of people, which will allow you to grow. Couple of things that like I'll ask is like, was there any like surprises, meaning like pleasant surprises when you started working with us?
Hmm.
And some people will say like, yeah, I didn't know that you guys did these things. And if you talk to like 10 people, right, and they all point out, yeah, I didn't know that you guys were so dialed in with your programming, right? It's so nice to be able to go to the gym and like know exactly what to do. And then you can scan your marketing message and just like, damn, I don't write that anywhere, so we got to add that. um, Other things to put it, it's like, hey, what did you not like about previous clinics and what brought you here, right? And that's when you can update the messages, like talking in and dialing on those pain points. But you got to figure out that ICP, the likes and dislikes, and just constantly reevaluate it, because you're naturally going to start to attract certain people throughout the years, and you might even change your own perspective. Like in your case, from the CrossFit
Yeah.
to more like older adults, where more physical therapists were like, oh yeah, we want to work with people that are professional athletes, and like, yeah, sure, I still love working with high level athletes, but man,
Hmm.
give me that. For me, male or female, mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
You.
Dude, that kind of older mom demographic, dude, we crush that demographic, man. Whenever we got a kind of one of those like older moms coming in, I'm like, man, like we're gonna crush it, whether it's with our jokes or kind of rapport with them. But yeah, I think when trying to go at it with trying to figure out where, who this ideal ICP, you can kind of go at it with your own observation. So just trying to track like, all right, what is their overall age? What do they do from an occupation standpoint? What are their interests? So kind of your own observation. And then from there, you can kind of also have like different questions that you're asking them. And so for these questions that you're asking them, is this more like, are you asking them in session? Is this maybe like a feedback form that they're filling out? Like, how are you guys doing it?
Yeah, it's all within session.
Okay.
Just like, yo, what's going on, dude? How's everything been? And then as you get the session going, it's like, yeah, just curious. We're kind of like revamping our marketing and trying to
Mm.
dial things in with like an agency. And one of the hacks that you can do is just offload the burden to somebody else. Right? It's like it's not me. Somebody else is asking me to ask you this. Right? It's so much easier. Like when you're a solo provider and someone asks you for a discount and you're like, no, I can't do that. It's just company policy, and they look at you, but you are the company.
Yeah.
But when you offload the burden to someone else, is so easy. So we'll typically we have something in a drip sequence. It's like, hey, how do you like your session so far? Is there any way that we can improve, etc. So like that, it's like within like the third or fourth week when someone becomes a client of ours, and then for me, it's like obviously as the owner, it's like I'm just always asking questions. I'm always asking people like, hey, what are you interested in right now? Like, hey, what fitness things are you loving? Or like if I see something like, oh shoot, what do you think about that? Right? Because like even if you see like your clients all slowly buying one specific brand, right, you can start to look at that brand site. It's like,
Mm.
what really sticks out here, right, compared to other companies? And it's like, wow, this brand puts such a huge emphasis on the technical aspect of things and how things get done. I think a common thing that most people do is like, hey, what's your three-step process? Right? Everyone's got to have a signature three-step process, but people that think at a very technical level, they're not just going to care about, okay, we're going to calm shit down, build shit up, and perform for life. The people that are very technical, they want to know how you're doing that. So when you
Mm.
calm shit down, what are the? It's not just the benefits that you're getting, right? I want to know the key features, right? Like when you shop for something, it's like you want the key feature. Like when I was looking at force plates, I'm like, I'm looking at sampling frequencies. Like I don't just want to know. Sure, I can get all these data, but like, how do you guys do all these things? And if you have a demographic that's like very keen on the technical aspect of things, maybe you live in a bigger city and it's filled with like a bunch of tech companies, you
Mm.
might actually be breaking down your proprietary way of doing physical therapy more and more on your landing page. It'll stick out to that. Now you might be in the middle of nowhere and I don't know, like there's not people that are highly technical. It's a very small town. You can probably get away with just listing like we calm things down, build shit up. But like as you start to build on your website, you want to get more detail.
Yeah. And the cool thing is you can have specific different like landing pages on your website that feed into all these different like ICPs, right? So for somebody who's like a runner coming in, their three-step process is probably gonna, it's overall the same framework, but you can have very specific language and only terms that they will understand, like that you can integrate into that three-step process that funnels into the landing page. That way, when they do actually get on, they're like, holy shit, like this is exactly me. And this is exactly like what I do need in order to get back to doing XYZ. And then same thing with all the different like sequences that we send them afterwards whenever they do book, all the automations. Cool. Can we have it be very specific, very heavy on like, runner demographic, etc. Dude, one thing that I have noticed, I just kind of thought about this. Over the last quarter or so, we've had an influx of like physicians and nurse practitioners that have come in, and they've all like piffed. So I'm thinking, I'm like, shit, like how do we get more of these like local orthos and people that are already like, and they're part of the very large like healthcare corporations here in Jacksonville. There are orthos at Mayo, Brooks, Baptist Health South, right? All these like big corporations, and they technically have access to physical therapy, quote quote, in house. That's probably free, but I do need to ask them a little bit more about this. Like, hey, like, how'd you hear about us? Like, what made you pick us? And how do we get more of you guys? Because I mean, dude, these are people coming in with money and piffing, no issues. Now I'm thinking like, man, how do we create even more of like a deluxe option for these people? So it's like, but yeah.
The that's one question that you should always be asking is like, why did you decide to work? I mean, obviously you can ask this in a discovery call, but if you have an SDR, that could be part of the process, or like when you're ever evaluating, like what made you decide to come with us, or etc. I remember I had an eval earlier this year. I was like, "What made you come to us?" He's like, "Because he was referred to us by a pain med doc that we work with,
Mm.
and pain med doc referred two clinics, us and someone else in the city, and he would have been fine at the other clinic as well. That's a really good clinic, But I'm like, what made you pick us? He goes, man, I just like really fuck with your name, like moment, like that. Just felt like this was gonna be my moment, like, and I was like, that's hilarious because that's actually our hashtag. So he goes, yeah, I just fuck with the
Love
moment
that.
more. Like it just felt like it was calling to me. So that's why when you are creating your names, it's like do some shit that's kind of like aspirational, right? Like don't be Peter Orthopedic Sport and Spine. Like that shit is so whack. Like pick if you're gonna create a brand, make it aspirational.
For sure. Yeah, quick thing on having names on companies as the company name. It at the initial beginning, like you might just kind of think of like, all right, cool, that's super simple. I can just kind of rock and roll with that. But as you get larger and larger, and you're trying to like get out of fulfillment, that's something where it's like, hey, if your name is like Peter Orthopedics, like people want to come in and see Peter, right? Because it's like your fucking name as the company. And so, yeah, you just want to kind of keep that consideration in mind. Obviously, if you're trying to stay solo and you want to, be the main provider, then I think that's totally fine. But yeah, dude, I think that's hilarious that he came and he's like, yo, I'll fucks with that, man.
Yeah. Another thing I think that is super common is like people, and I think this is like just from like an entrepreneur lens. It's like you should never create a product without knowing that this problem truly, truly exists, right? Like so many people try to create products and they don't know if that product is addressing a pain point that is so, so strong. So like whenever you're trying to roll something out, or like maybe you're struggling with like we're switching up our continuity because I feel like it does okay, but it could definitely do better. So we're trying to figure out different options. One of the things that we're exploring is like a tiered monthly programming thing.
Mm.
So like if it's
Is
the
it going to
tier,
be like low ticket?
yeah, lower ticket.
Okay.
So like we can always have a downsell. It's like, hey, like you need some sort of programming update. And in the grand scheme of things, if it doesn't seem like much initially, but if you can keep getting people to go into it, and that could be something that is not just kind of patience, but it can be to people that are already following you.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things to think about is like just ask like, hey, what else if we were to do certain things, like what do you feel like is missing from our services? Like would you want like do you feel like you want fairly specific programming, or you're okay almost with something a little bit more general as long as it's like changing? Like do you like variety, do you like structure, etc.? Because that's how you start to really dial in your offer more and more, like
Mhm.
opposed to just like, hey, let me just create this and hope that people like it. It's like, let me just like throw out some feelers, right? You can literally throw out an email. It's like, hey, we're about to launch a online kettlebell training thing. If you're interested in this and want to be a part of the beta group, respond yes. And if you get a bunch of yeses, then go for it. If you don't get that many yeses, straight up just message the 3 or 4 people that respond. It's like, hey, we didn't get as much interest as we would like, so we're gonna, pursue something else.
Mm. I like that. Yeah, one of the things that we've pivoted towards in the last, I would say, 2 years now, is transitioning our programming that we give to our clients from like a PDF onto an app. And one of the main reasons for that was exactly by surveying our clients. It's like, hey, like, how do you like the overall, format of how we're delivering the asynchronous type of things for you to work on at home? Some people were like, hey, like, how come did you get a chance to do your stuff at home from last time I saw you? And sometimes some of the more common things that we would hear from clients is really just like, yeah, it was good, but I kind of just remembered it on my own, and I didn't want to pull it up because it was just like an additional hassle to like dig through my emails, look up Motion RX last visit, and then pull up like the PDF link and then click on the video. So it's too many steps. And so what we did was, I think like the app solved a lot of that, because all they did now, they have a specific app, and it's really just like 2 steps. They open the phone, click on the app, and then the app will pull up, hey, like whatever exercises that they have loaded up for the day, and all the videos and everything are also in there as well too. Another good thing too from that is like, cool. Now we can also implement it, or uh, hone in on the fact that there's accountability involved with this program that we're delivering them. Right? We can see, hey, are you logging in? Are you checking in? Are you completing your exercises off as well too? But had we never asked our clients like, hey, how do you feel about the overall deliverability of the programs at home? We would have never known to evolve into that.
Yeah, I've had so much mixed reviews on the opposite side of, like, and this is why
Yeah.
like these matter. Like we've had people like, I just like the app is super glitchy. Like I actually just prefer just getting it
Yeah,
delivered
just a
to the
PDF.
door.
Yeah.
But that's why I think these things are important because like everyone's got a completely different like demographic with, and the way you approach your business is gonna vary, right? So I think when you're like setting up your business and there's really only one way, or like let's say you work with like another business coaching group and they're like, nope, there's only one way that they do marketing, there's only one way that they do their messaging, etc. And it's catered to the person that essentially runs the business coaching group and their experience.
Mm.
But what I find more, it's like 80% of it could potentially be done, but then 20% of it needs to clearly get changed up to reflect your demographic. So this is where all of these things are super, super valuable.
Yeah. One of the things, so whenever somebody like once somebody discharges or basically doesn't opt into our membership offer, or maybe they're on membership and they decide to stop with that, we'll send them kind of like a discharge survey to kind of be able to figure out like, hey, like what was it specifically that kind of made you stop? And so I think there's a couple good questions that I want to kind of share. Got it pulled up here. But yeah, like one of the questions, it kind of goes through a bunch of different things, right? So kind of like goes from superficial more into in depth, right? And basically just has a title as like client feedback survey. And the first thing is just like, hey, what would you rate your overall satisfaction with our services here? 1 to 10. How likely are you to refer a friend or family to our facility? And then how likely are you likely to return in the future for services? And then from there, we go into like, hey, like what aspects of the treatment and program did you enjoy the most? And then the next question is the main one that we're really looking for. Is like, hey, what was the primary main reason for stopping slash finishing up services here with us? And then, is there anything differently that we could have potentially done in order for you to continue to stay on as a client, whether it's for maintenance, health, or to increase performance? So I think, yeah, those two questions at the end really kind of give you an idea of like, hey, what else do we need to like adjust or monitor in order to potentially like have this client continue to stay on for pretty much like forever, right? Like, hey, is it potentially, hey, like they just stopped seeing the value? Was it like scheduled? Do we need to have more of like a remote offer? Is it like, hey, they're already going to gym, so they don't feel like what we're providing is unique enough, right? Is it finance thing, etc. So that has kind of given us some pretty good kind of insight. And then one more thing too that I think has been really helpful. That's in a question that it's on the survey. It's like, hey, we're always looking to expand our referral network for our clients. Do you have any local physicians, healthcare providers, or health and wellness businesses that we should connect with to refer to our clients? So you basically request the ask for somebody else, right? Kind of similar to what you were saying before, like as the agency. But in reality, it's like, hey, we want to know, hey, what are some other like-minded businesses that, because if this person has been to us and has come to us for the last 2-3 years, and they're also going to this other health and wellness place, there's probably some overlap in terms of like potential customers. So we want to be able to kind of set up some sort of additional referral partner with them to kind of see, hey, can we continue to expand our network from there? So I think, yeah, that question has been super helpful as well too.
Yeah, and whenever you do these surveys, like there's like this, people want to finish things, right? You won't start it and like just like close it. I feel like once you get to like halfway through the survey, immediately they're like, I've just spent time on this. I should just finish this.
Yeah.
So make those first, like your couple of questions in the beginning are super easy to answer.
Yep.
Like it gets people going, and then they'll kind of stick afterwards, which I think is a really great idea. And I think a good frame to have is like whenever you don't get the outcome that you would like, let's say someone comes in and like they clearly needed your help, but you didn't do a good job of closing them on the call, right? Just straight up message them. It's like, hey, I know that you didn't decide to pursue and work with us, and like we're always trying to do a better job and make sure that like we're communicating effectively. Was there anything on our end that you felt like was missing that we could improve on? And people are more like, people love to fix other people's issues. They don't like to
Mhm.
fix their own issues. You know what I mean? Like, that's a
What a bar.
people will love to provide, like that's like every friendship, right? Like you got that one friend that's always trying to fix everyone else. And it's like, yo, bro, I know what your life is like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You had no deal doing that stuff. But I think in general, you have to have that thought, I don't know, heuristic in your head is like people want to fix others, not themselves. So when you ask them for feedback, they'll gladly give it. And even if the response rate is only like 30%, I'm telling you, you're gonna get some gems in there, right?
Dude, that's a great nugget, man. I'm gonna take that because that's something that we're not currently doing right now. Is for all the people that don't close, either it's on evals and or POCs, we don't have any kind of feedback for them. They just automatically go into our nurture sequence. But I think yeah, having right after they don't close, having the first piece of thing that gets sent out is like, hey, what could we do differently that would have potentially swayed you to decide to work with us instead? And yeah, it's just continue to refine whatever. If you're seeing like multiple answers that that reflect the same topic, it's like, all right, cool, we either need to proactively address this in ahead of time, and or have some sort of different pieces of content and or resources that address that one common thing that people are saying over and over again, or change that up in your offer so it really reflects what they're requesting in there. So that's huge. Yeah, that's great. I'm really excited to actually kind of see what people say for that.
The psychology behind it, it's like you again, all of your messaging can be utilized in a way that boosts yourself up, right? It's like,
Mm.
hey, we take our job super, super seriously. We're always trying to make our product better, our services better. And every single year, like every month, or like every 3 months, we're meeting as a team to make sure that we can refine our processes. So whenever we don't get to help somebody, or we don't get to service someone for people that we really do feel like we can help, we always want to figure out like what's wrong, right? So like I'm not going to say use that same exact script, but you want to like give yourself a pat on the back. 'Cause then those people on the other side are like, wow, Peter and the motion team take themselves so, so seriously. So even if it didn't work out this time, I'm going to give them feedback. And in the future, I might come back because they're so keen on taking my feedback.
Yep.
And most big businesses already do this, right? Like if you're using an app, it's like, hey, what would you rate it 1 to 5? And granted, you're just like, fuck that. But when you have like a personal touch, I do think you get honest feedback.
Yeah. And I think you can even for like people who have already like finished or are halfway through POCs, you can request it on behalf of the therapist. So it's like, hey, Dr. Peter would actually, appreciate this feedback. Could you go ahead and fill this out for him to help him understand how to, better services? And that's kind of something that we found as well too for our Google review asks. We used to ask it on behalf of the business, and now when we frame it as like, hey, could you leave this review for Dr. XYZ that you've been working with? Super pumped about all the progress that you've made with Dr. XYZ. Now there's so much more likely to leave it for them versus kind of like on behalf of them versus like on behalf of the business, because it's a lot more personalized, right?
Yeah, man, I think in the beginning, you guys might be like, oh man, you're just asking me to do so many reach outs, so many emails, so many messages. But these are things that make a difference. Like even when you message a big business now, right? It's like, it's never like Google ticket support. It's like blank name at Google. Like you try
Mm.
to normalize that there's a person on the other side of it. So whenever like any good business will have like name at so and so company opposed to just the name of the company. So you know that you're
Mhm.
talking to a real human being. Other things with like the researching side, patience. We kind of talked about how to figure out how to change up your messaging and your marketing. We talked about how to figure out if this product is even worth creating for people that don't commit to working with you. Trying to dive in more. Is there anything else that you're like, yeah, you should definitely be doing this in terms of like customer research?
I think that's the main bulk of it, man. I think one thing that I did want to input on the second half when asking customers if there's anything that we should add. We had a couple people request, hey, like we would love to get some sort of massage in here. And this has happened a couple times now. And for us, I go back and forth all the time, like, man, should I add on, an additional service that's like just massage? And I don't know. As of now, we still have not added it. And I think the main thing for me is like for us, like our main treatment philosophy isn't necessarily that much hands on. It's very like exercise based and whatnot. And then also too, it's you would almost have to create almost like a whole separate like business as well too to be able to kind of funnel in and make that uh, be well worth it. And so yeah, because like I don't really know if there would be a massage therapist that would be just like willing to come in, maybe just like, hey, whenever clients do request it, they probably want to have some sort of like consistent caseload of like clients ready to rock and roll for them. And then same thing with like our marketing. We would probably need to have some sort of like specific ad and or funnel that targets people who are specifically looking for massage. And for us and kind of like what we're already currently doing from a physical therapy side of things, it just like doesn't necessarily like jive that well in my personal opinion. And so I think a lot of times like if like just because you can add something on from an offer standpoint doesn't necessarily mean you should. And I think like this is something that Hormozy has talked about a couple times now, but it's like until you hit like seven figures, you should just focus on one offer and one platform, one avatar. And I think that's such a good reminder. It's like there's so many different things that we could do at all times. We could, do semi-private, we can do personal training, we could add on acupuncture, we could add, do all this like holistic things, but really a lot of times they just act as more distractions rather than something that would be productive. So hone in on, what you're already good at, physical therapy, hone in on that, ideal ICP. And then from there, I'm sure there are enough ICPs in your town, no matter how small it is, to get you to seven figures.
Yeah. And if you watched our webinar, you already know it doesn't take that much to get your first 10K either. Just need plan of cares close essentially in a month to get it. But if you want that launch webinar, all you have to do is message me, Dr. Andy Fata-Chan, and just DM me a launch webinar and I'll get that over sent to you. But the goal with all these things, if you've ever read marketing and maybe you're walking around a city, maybe you're at the mall, maybe you're just watching an Instagram ad, if you ever like listened, watched, read marketing and you're just like, holy crap, they know me so well, that's ICP at the highest level. I actually had a patient yesterday say something to me, and I'm like, wow, I need to add that into our marketing. He said, dude, chronic pain sucks. And I was like, what happened? He goes, it just fucking sucks to like literally wake up in the morning and the first thing that you think about is pain. And I was like,
Mm.
fuck, that is good copy. Like, right? Like, is the first thing you think about in the morning pain? And does that drain you? Blah, 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 blah. Like, when someone actually experiences that and they're like, oh man, the first thing I do wake up and I think about is like my back pain, my shoulder pain, or all these things hurting, immediately you've got their attention, right? So this could be the beginning of like your ad creative. It's the first thing you think about when you wake up is pain. Have you tried blah 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 blah? Well, here's XYZ. But you want that hook of like, and ideally the hooks can be things that your patients have said to you. Like when I utilize like our copy, it's like I always use chronic, lingering, nagging. It's like those are the same words that patients use. So it's like you might as well plug it into your copy.
I love that. That's a great way to wrap this up, man. Yeah, I think a lot of times when people who struggle with copy, just listen to your clients. It's right there, standing right in front of you.
Yeah. One last cheat code, and for people that have done moment education, I'm sorry, y'all, but I've used your words as well in our marketing. Before we launch anything, we drop a survey. It's like, what is something that you're struggling with that you want this mentorship to be able to solve for you? People will be like programming, assessments, blah, blah, but it'll give me very specific words. And I'll update the email marketing for the launch with those specific words. And it's the same exact thing, right? It's like, what did you want Motion RX to solve for you, right? When you first got started? You can even look at all of your Google testimonials, right? And
Mhm.
kind of figure out like, what are some common themes here? And you should plug that into the marketing.
And as long as you're making money, it works.
Guys, this is, first off, I posted on our Slack last week, 40 episodes.
Let's go.
We're on 41 episodes now, but we're only on 38 5 stars. That's crazy.
Oh,
Oh man, guys, ladies,
gents.
whoever's listening, maybe we only have 38 listeners though.
Oh, good. Yeah. Shout out to our loyal 38 followers.
Shout out to the 38 followers. But yeah, if you found this super, super valuable, maybe there was nothing valuable here, but you enjoy the little John Legend thing in the beginning, like drop a 5 star. It's so, so quick. Just pause right now, drop a 5 star. We'd really appreciate it. So let's get it, guys. Peace.
Peace.